Back in early 2010, the Longhorn Network was created with good intentions. Texas's athletic director wanted to figure a way to provide more attention and viewership for sports that were not football or basketball. He had seen the success of the Big Ten Network and felt like they could see the same results. Now, the Longhorn Network is viewed as the cause for college football realignment. But is that really the case? Stay tuned to find out. But before we get into this, if you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'm planning to release multiple videos a week this season. Also, comment who you want me to cover in future videos and who your favorite feel-good story is going into the 2023 college football season. DeLoss Dodds, the Longhorns athletic director from 1981 to 2014, wanted to create the Longhorn Network to spotlight sports that were not getting enough attention. He felt sports like volleyball, baseball, softball, and others did not really get the same national attention as football and basketball and were not viewed as profitable sports. But Dodd felt like these sports had a viewership and he could bring in more money for the university as well. When the network was getting created, he felt like they would need to pay out of pocket for this network and felt like it could be a failure at first. He did not actually think that Texas had 24 hours of content that they could play over and over, and actually reached out to Texas A&M to join in on the venture. A&M felt like this wouldn't be worth it and they couldn't cut a deal that would make sense. Earlier in the 2000s, in around 2007, the Big 12 tried to create their own network, but the schools were hesitant. When Texas decided to go through with the Longhorns Network, initial discussions with television partners were fruitful. Fox offered Texas about $3 million per year, way more than the Longhorns anticipated. But they would be shocked when ESPN offered $15 million per year for 20 years. Along with the third-tier rights programs like baseball and volleyball, the Longhorns Network would showcase 2 Longhorns football games a year as well as multiple high school games, or originally planned. Opposing schools did not like this and felt uneasy and already did not like the unequal revenue share at the time. Opposing schools thought having high school football games was an unfair advantage in recruiting, and the NCAA would eventually not allow Texas to do this. I understand it, but I also find it kind of funny how the college schools like Texas A&M and other Texas schools had the opportunity to join in on the Longhorns Network and actually shut down the idea of it, not thinking it was going to work. But when it actually was going to work, they're then like, oh wait, actually, we don't like this idea. And when Texas tried to create a different way to present high school football to give Texas talent like Jonathan Gray viewership, the other schools decided they didn't like this. I get it, don't get me wrong, but it's funny how narratives change real quickly once something starts to work. The reason Longhorns Network is considered to be a big part of college football realignment is many felt like the Longhorns Network was why Texas A&M chose to leave the Big 12 for the SEC. And it actually, with the creation of Longhorns Network and threat of high school football, it actually brought the Aggies fan base together to choose to go towards the SEC. But that's not really the reason Texas A&M left for the SEC. It was kind of like the last straw and the excuse used, but they had been considering leaving for the SEC for years beforehand, and they just wanted to create their own image aside from the Longhorns to become a bigger program than the Longhorns. When the network first launched, there was a lot of growing pains with distributions, including providers not carrying the network in the actual Austin area, but this would eventually be solved. Longhorn Network aimed to give sports like volleyball, soccer, tennis, swimming, and track and field first-rate treatment akin to what the most visible sports get, like basketball and football. There were all-access programs as well on the Longhorns Network, like ones that provided access to Texas Longhorns football practices, which opposing coaches actually watched, admitting to Mac Brown years later. The crazy thing is, the Big 12 schools and other schools hated the Longhorn Network so much so, even though it was giving these sports programs a visible way of being watched, that when the Longhorn Network traveled to other schools, they actually had to cover up the logo because there was such vitriol hate associated with the network. Unfortunately, the network will come to an end in 2024 when the Longhorns move to the SEC. The baseball, softball, volleyball, and other live events that UT fans have become accustomed to watching on Longhorn Network will actually move to the SEC Network and ESPN+. In the Longhorn Network's first 11 years of existence, the channel actually won 33 Emmy Awards and shows the amount of success and opportunity it provided for other people in the sports world. that maybe wouldn't have gotten an opportunity had it not been for the Longhorn Network. Everyone also blames the network for college football realignment, but I actually have to disagree with that statement. I mean, the only reason Texas and Oklahoma did not leave for the Pac-12 in 2010 was because the Longhorns were creating this network, and the Pac-12 wanted them to get rid of it. Because they were not allowed to have the Longhorn Network, Oklahoma and Texas, with Oklahoma joining Texas wherever they were going to go, decided to back out of the Pac-12. And it actually led to Oklahoma developing their own television deal with Fox Sports to create their own network. The Longhorn Network gave quality coverage to sports that did not usually get the same type of coverage, and it provided lessons and experiences from which ESPN drew to launch its own SEC network in 2014. It's not a coincidence that several folks who were integral in launching the Longhorn Network were tabbed to help start and grow ESPN's first conference network into a success. And this same success led to the creation of the Big 12 network and the ACC network. The Longhorn Network has a complicated legacy and is more so a interesting case study to look at. I find it weird how it's blamed for college football realignment, as I've reiterated throughout this video, because I think it actually delayed what would later happen, what we would see the past few years with college football realignment. Had it not been for the Longhorn Network, we would have seen Texas and Oklahoma go to the Pac-12 and the Big 12 probably fall apart then, rather than the Pac-12 falling apart now. And it delayed the inevitable. So I know this is going to be a controversial video, and it's a little different type of a video. This is more me talking into a mic rather than having a script written video. But let me know your opinion on it. Let me know if you want me to do more videos like this, where it's more just me talking into a microphone, sharing my thoughts, and what your opinion of the Longhorn Network was. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more college football content, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.